Hey y'all. So I have a small kind of PowerPoint conversation about thinking rhetorically and understanding what rhetoric is. We're going to talk about this as the whole semester goes, and like we'll add on to it because right now we're just talking about basically the kind of this really smallest parts of rhetoric, but later we're going to talk about rhetorical appeals. So this is a really great place to start when we're thinking about rhetoric. So the first question is, what in the world is rhetoric? What does that even mean? Well, rhetoric is basically the art of persuasion. And what that means is it's the way that we as writers or speakers convince our audience to see our side. And we may think, well, oh, it's just about the issues. It's never just about the issues. And I think about this a lot with politicians. We vote for people we like, and it's their rhetoric that makes us like them. And so it's the way that we are convinced to see the side of someone else. And it's kind of interesting. It's almost like word manipulation when you think about it. And I always thought this was just really fascinating. So it's really the way that people convince us to see their point. Okay? And so how do you think rhetorically? Well, now that you already know that, there's 5 things that I want you to consider. Okay. The genre. Whenever you're reading something or writing something, I want you to think about this. What kind of paper is this? What kind of article is this? What kind of essay is it? So, and it's really important because you do not want to bring the elements of argument to a narrative. It just won't work. It's not going to be nearly as interesting. And so it even affects like the way you organize the paper. So your narrative will be organized chronologically. That's the paper you'll be doing for this class. Well, your argument will probably be done by points. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but that's why I think genre is important. Know what you're writing, what kind of paper you're going to be writing. Audience, who are you writing this paper for? A lot of times my students say, I'm writing it for you, Hunter. I know. But really, think about maybe whenever you were writing for pleasure, or think about as you progress in your college career, who are you writing for? It's not just to get an A, right? Hopefully, we're going to kind of keep that in your mind. It also affects your tone and your level of formality. And I want you to think about this. When you text your significant other, you are going to sound a little bit different than when you send an email to me. Probably you're going to be a little bit more formal when you send an email to me. So that's kind of what I mean by consider your audience. They're considering you when they're writing. Okay? Purpose. Why are they writing this essay? Okay. And like a lot of times you can even say persuade, inform, entertain. Those are kind of the common ones. But it really can affect just about anything because it'll affect your genre. It'll affect the way you decide to write something. I don't think I would have a PowerPoint full of memes if I was giving this to the president of the college. But, y'all are college students. I feel like y'all like that kind of stuff. I like goofy stuff. I don't know. Anyway, stance. That is your attitude about your topic. And I think it's really clear whenever you do an argument, you can say, okay, I'm going to write about gun control. Okay, so your opinion on gun control is your stance. It's a little bit different whenever you're talking about something like narrative because you're not making that kind of taking a side argument. So we'll talk about that a little bit more through each paper. Okay? Always know your audience. That's why it was really close to the beginning. Context, how much do you know about a topic? And how much will you be able to add to the conversation? And we'll talk about how this works in different essays. Our first one's going to be narrative, so we'll probably talk about it a little bit more. Okay, so I want to go ahead and talk about the 3 kinds of essays we'll write for this class. And we're going to talk about them more and more, but I want to go ahead and give you like a little bit of a foundation so you know what to expect before you ever get to narrative. So, narrative. In this piece, you'll tell a story about an event that shaped your identity. And so I want you to think about your rhetoric. And so think about who's going to be reading your essay. It's going to be me, but it's also going to be your classmates for peer review. How much background you'll have to add. Why are you writing this essay? I know, probably to get an A. But also think about how this could be a great paper for you to write. People really love to explore their own issues. So I think that's a really fun thing to talk about. And then how you see those events. So how you reflect on those events is your stance in that situation. Okay? Your next one is your visual rhetorical analysis. And so in this one, basically what you're going to do is you are going to take an advertisement and you are going to look at the things that the advertiser does to manipulate you into buying their product. Okay? And so you have to think again, who's going to be reading my essay? How much background do I have to know? Why am I writing this essay? I can tell you it's to understand rhetoric, so that's one of the big points of this whole class. And then, does the argument succeed? That's going to be your stance, and it's also going to be your thesis. Okay? And then your last paper, an argument, and it's going to be an argument on a social issue. If you are already thinking you're going to write on something that's like super duper mainstream, I would go ahead and get it out of your mind. I have a huge no-zone list of things that you can talk about, so kind of keep that in your mind. So then, think about who'll be reading your essay. Think about how much background you need to know about the essay, and that means how much research you're going to have to do as well. Why you're writing that, and then what point are you trying to prove? And that's your stance. So on that argument, you can say, if you want to talk about gun control, your stance on gun control. That would be your thesis, and that would be your stance. Okay? And final thoughts. Don't be stressed. I'm trying to get little things out at a time, little. Okay? And so don't feel stressed. Your presentation's over for now. Always, if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out to me. Okay, you guys have a great day.